This is Off the Ice, the Nanaimo Clippers hockey show on 106.9 The Wolf. With the latest news on the Clippers and the BCHL, here's Dan Marshall.
It is Off the Ice, the Clippers hockey show as we begin the month of November tomorrow. The hockey month of October is over for the Clippers. 7-3-0-2. Pretty good month. Lots of disappointment yesterday. The wrap-up appearance weekend, the last game of the month, a 6-4 loss to the Powell River Kings, especially that game being 6-1 at one point. The Clippers making a furious comeback at the end, but disappointment there. But it has to be optimism for an excellent month of the year. 11 games in November, 5 against the division, but 2 non-divisional games to start it this Friday, the Chilliwack Chiefs and also the Merritt Centennials on Sunday. We're going to talk to head coach and general manager Mike Vandekamp off the top. Also on today's show, we have Clipper defenseman Adam Pilotte, Clipper forward Matt Kowalski. They're also going to play a Halloween game called Face Off. I'll explain that a little bit later on. Before we get to Mike Vandekamp, though, a chance for you to win tickets up on our Facebook page, a question. Also, you can go to our Twitter page at 1069, and we'll answer our question as well. Graeme Tait is filling in for Joe G today. And Graeme, what is our trivia question to be eligible for a pair of Clipper tickets?
All right, so Chilliwack coming in to Nanaimo on Friday. What was the Clippers' record against the Chiefs last year? Were they 2-0, 1-1, or 0-2? You can leave your answer on the Wolf Facebook page. All of the correct ones, we'll have a look, pick one at random, win tickets to. These are good for any game. Clipper home game, by the way. It doesn't have to be this upcoming Friday's game, but any game during the regular season. So if you want to win those tickets, hop on the Wolf Facebook page.
As usual, a heck of an offering from the Wolf. Right now, Mike Vandekamp is joining us, the head coach and general manager, and right now, father for the Nanaimo Clippers. And coach, your fatherly duties, you're out trick-or-treating. What costumes have the Vandekamp kids gone with this year?
Well, I have a hot dog that ran away with his buddies. He's old enough now. He's out running the streets, and I'm actually walking with 4 young ladies, 11-year-old girls that are dressed up as numerous people from Wizard of Oz. So I've got a lion and a scarecrow and Dorothy and something else. Tin Man, maybe.
And one year I went as Dracula, and we actually painted my hair black, and it took days for that black hair to come out, but that was pretty inventive. And one year I went as a young farm girl, which was a very poor costume choice, and there's still photographic evidence of that. Any Vandekamp costumes from your childhood that you're willing to talk about?
That's funny. I was usually a sports, I was a hockey player. I was a baseball player. I was a football player. I was a boxer. I remember all those. And I think I went as a WWF wrestler once. But I do recall one time as an adult that I got home one time and had absolutely no intentions of, anything to do with, going to a Halloween party. And my wife said, "We're going to a Halloween party tonight." And I said, "Okay, well, I don't have an outfit or whatever." So I had to improvise, and I quickly became Slash from Guns N' Roses because there was a black wig in the garage, and I found this high hat and a pair of her Lululemon tights, I will admit, and some boots of hers as well, and I was a rock star. As long as you had a smoke hanging out of your mouth, you look like him. So that was great improvising, and Halloween's fun, though. I actually really enjoy it.
Playoff format is going to be different this year. We haven't talked about it yet, and the round robin is over. You were in it twice, and both times there was some weird quirk in it. The first weird quirk hurt Chilliwack 2 years ago and helped you in Penticton, and the weird quirk last year hurt you in a bad way because you didn't have a second chance to get in to the playoffs in round 4, and the team you were playing did. Are you glad that's gone, but also do you like what they've come up with, the best of 7 island versus mainland in round 3?
Well, it's a tough one. I think the format that's been chosen goes to show how badly everybody disliked the round robin, because it's not an ideal one either. So the round robin was definitely not popular. I think it was a little bit confusing for the fans. I think it was difficult even for the players. And then, of course, it always seemed it still wasn't going to end up fair necessarily either. So that was a tough one, and I think everybody worked hard to try to come up with a solution. But this one here now, I think, like what you see is the dollars and cents win over in the decision making. It's all about expenses and possible revenue for teams, I suppose, at that time of the year that comes into play. And if you have to kind of make it a little bit of an uneven playing field or whatever at playoff time in order to gain that, I guess that was the decision the governors make. And these decisions are made by the governors of our league, so they're kind of out of the hands of coaches and general managers at this level. It's made by people that are in different roles, and this is the way they've chosen to go. But basically, a simple explanation is, I think it's all about the bottom line. And in this case, as a coach, obviously not a fan of the process. I mean, some teams have a shorter and easier way even into the playoffs, and then a shorter and easier way to get to the final and possibly win our league. But I guess that's the way it was decided. So we'll just try to play the best hockey we can, hopefully make the playoffs, and I guess we'd just be honored to somehow win our way there, I guess.
3 games last week. Tuesday in Cowichan, Friday against West Kelowna at home. I think a coach's dream, the effort level of the team, the result, obviously, and then Sunday against the Powell River Kings, probably a coach's nightmare in the 3 games. How do you assess the week?
Well, it's definitely the story of two different teams showing up. There's no question about that, which in itself is a coach's nightmare. So the roller coaster ride that our team is providing us continues. It's been I think we made a lot of strides in the month of October overall, and we became a much, much better team. There's no question that we're a better team at the end of October than we were at the end of September. So we're seeing improvement, but still pretty disappointed in the way that we showed up on Sunday. We played an extremely good game on Friday from the goal net out. It was solid. It was focused, structured. The effort was there. I thought we played, a real good hockey game, and it was a very entertaining and well-played game by both teams. And, we scored a big goal in the third to come out on top. And then on Sunday just didn't have the same focus, certainly didn't have the same effort. It was a tough game to get into. There was a lot of penalties called. I'm not, that was a real tough pill to swallow. It seemed like we just couldn't stay out of the penalty box, and that certainly took any momentum that we might have even had a chance to gain would just kind of slip away on us every time, because we were taking penalties once every 2 or 3 minutes for a while there, and that's going to take the wind out of your sails every game. So overall, it was a disappointing Sunday afternoon, but I guess you got to look back at the whole month and say, we made some pretty good strides here. We're moving forward, and we're looking forward to heading into November.
Sean Buchanan, I thought, played with a lot of heart in the loss a couple of weekends ago to the Salmon Arm Silverbacks, and he was a guy that was even trying to dive and break up a play as they won that game in overtime. And I thought that was a game where just every shift he played with a lot of passion. And that was the last game he played. I talked to him yesterday, and he feels like he's close. Do you feel like you're going to have him in the lineup for Friday against Chilliwack? That's a huge addition to your team. Or is this going to be something that might come down to the wire?
I think it'll probably come down to the wire. We had a pretty hard day today. We worked pretty hard as a group, and he participated in a portion of that, which was good. And now he's got to kind of work through the rest of the week here and hopefully be able to take some final steps and get back in the lineup with the injury that he has here. It's a tough one. So we need to get him back, though. We've been, Sean's had an interesting season because his role has increased a lot from where it was at any other point with our team. And, that's a tough adjustment for a player. And at times he's had lots of success, and at times he's had some struggles, and I expected that. But as the season wears along, I think he has the potential to become a really big part of our team. And at this point, he certainly is a minute muncher on the back end for us. And when we've lost him here, it's been tough on the back end. It's good experience for everybody else to have to step up and play in some roles a little bit here. But at the same time, we're trying to win games, and we need to get him back.
You've got a line with Crozier, Collins, and Millette that's fun to watch. the work ethic is unquestionable with those guys. But right now, in terms of their offense, they're not getting the same results that they were early in the year. Tristan's gone a while without a goal, even though he's still your leading goal scorer. Vincent's really been snake bit around the net, and Jamie's finally got a couple lately. But do you tell those guys to just stick with what they're doing and it'll come? Or do you eventually have to kind of say, you know what, we have to do a few things differently with a line that I think we all feel can score and score regularly?
Well, offense is the toughest thing to kind of coach, or, we just want our players to play hard and play within the system and the structure that we're asking. And those guys are as consistent in that area as a trio of forwards that we could have on our team. I mean, I'm happy with the way they play. They play hard every night. They're smart. They play the system well. They don't make a lot of mistakes. They're trustworthy on the ice. But they do need to get results, and I think, it's that's the final step, or the big step that players take, is to be able to be that good all-around player, but still, get some results too. It's one thing to play hard; it's another thing you got to put some pucks in the net. And I think Vinny's a prime example of that. He's got a lot of chances, and it's funny for me with him because he's got a quick release, he's got a great shot. He's got a goal scorer's makeup as a player. He's working hard. He seems to be getting chances, but it just seems like he can't find a way to get them in the net. And and with Jamie, you've got a guy that's constantly working and gives us everything he has every moment he's on the ice. And you just kind of hope that you see some results. And Tristan was getting some early on, and then it's kind of slowed up a little bit lately. But again, the three of them together are a trustworthy line, and we're happy with them. And I guess at some point you just hope to see the bubble burst a little bit, and they'll get some offensive results.
You love the schedule that you had last week, where there's a midweek game and the games are all spread out, but you're playing really regularly. It's a long week off, especially when you're coming off a loss. What do you do to break up the monotony, so to speak, of it just being a complete practice week before Friday?
Well, this week we've kind of scheduled ourselves a little bit differently. We were pretty banged up coming out of yesterday, but we had a pretty hard day today, about as hard a day as you could have with a hockey team, I think, both on and off the ice, to be honest with you. So we're going to take a day off the ice tomorrow, just take a day of rest and recharge the batteries completely, and then gives us a Wednesday and a Thursday to prepare ourselves for the weekend. And I think that's a nice way of doing it. Is you got to get some rest when you can. We got a pretty busy schedule after this. I think we obviously play Friday, Sunday, and we got a midweek game after that, and then a 3-game road trip after that. Coming up later on in the month. And so I think when you got an opportunity like this one to catch a little bit of rest and also get some work in and just make sure you're as fresh as possible mentally and physically on Friday when the puck drops.
Coach, appreciate the time as always. Happy trick-or-treating. We'll chat Friday.
Thanks a lot, Dan. Have a good night.
That is the head coach and general manager of the Nanaimo Clippers, who once dressed up as Slash for a Halloween party. That audio is going to come back at some point, around the Nanaimo Clippers dressing room. It is the Nanaimo Clippers hockey show off the ice. We're going to have Matt Kowalski and Adam Pilotte to join us after this break. We're going to ask them some hockey questions about themselves and play a game called Face Off on Off the Ice. We're back live on Off the Ice, the Clippers hockey show. Matt Kowalski, Adam Pilotte here to join me. We're going to play a game in a moment called Face Off. I have a giant baby head here, and whoever loses our game called Face Off is going to have to wear the giant baby head. So far, Matt Kowalski's not thrilled about this whole prospect, so he might be heading towards the baby head. I hope not. I hope this is tight. I hope it's close. For the game, which is called Face Off, we're going to ask you about face-offs. Seems easy enough. First, we're going to talk some hockey, though. Let's start with Matt Kowalski. Matt, 5 goals to start your season in the first third of the year. You're on pace for a 15-goal campaign. For a young guy, this will be your second year, but your first full year. Do you like the offensive pace that you're on right now?
Yeah, I feel like it's been good. I still want to bring it up as much as I can and just continue to work as hard as I can to get all the bounces that I hope will come to me.
It's fun for me to see a couple of guys with 1999 birthdays playing together. Yourself and David Celia, you guys could play together for years as Nanaimo Clippers and really develop some chemistry. It's fun for me to watch. Is he a guy that you're liking playing with?
Oh, definitely. We clicked from day one, and we've just been working well together since then, and hopefully we get to stick together for a couple of years on.
3 games this week and 2 games Tuesday and Friday. Let's focus on that first of all. You guys played a fantastic team game. What did you like about the way that you played and the team played on Tuesday and Friday in those wins?
Just the work ethic and the determination the boys had, never giving up and always giving it your all from the first shift to the last shift. It just showed that we deserved to win those 2 games.
Of course, the big question, and I'm sure you guys have talked about it as a group, what changed on Sunday? Because it was just a different game in almost every way on Sunday against the Powell River Kings.
We just didn't show up for the full 60 minutes, and you can't really win a game if you don't show up to play from the first shift to the end, and that's what cost us that game.
A top team coming in here, the Chilliwack Chiefs. They're second in their division, but they're 10-5, 0-3 on the season. But also a team that the Clippers played in last year's round robin in the BC Hockey League playoffs. Is there any rivalry with that team because of that playoff matchup at all?
Of course, it stems back from into last year, and you obviously always want to win no matter who you're playing. So I just like to develop a rivalry with every team when it comes down to it, and it's not a good thing to lose in your own building especially. So we hope to take it to them on Friday.
I think I saw that you had some family here for Parents' Weekend. What was that like for you?
It was nice to have my family here, of course. I wish that my dad could have made it out, but I'm glad that my grandma got to come and fill for him in his spot.
When you're playing junior hockey, is it literally when you leave home in August that you don't see anybody until Christmas most of the time? Might be different for you being those interior trips is nice and close to home.
It depends on where you're from, I'd say. For a guy like Adam, he sees a lot less family than me because my family is still so close and my family visits a lot. But in his scenario, being so far from home, it's obviously a lot tougher on him.
Where does your game need to go by the end of this year to make you happy and ultimately to make the coaches happy as well?
I just need to become a more complete player, playing as well as I can in all 3 zones and just being stronger in the defensive zone especially.
You showed last year, I think, when you came here, some of the skill level that you have. You're a high skill level guy. But this year, with some of the goals that you've scored, you're going to that dirty area to find pucks. And the pucks sometimes seem to find you by doing that. Is that a part of your game you're really trying to work on?
Oh, of course. That was an area that I struggled with over the last year. And being not so much of a big guy, I need to get into those areas and just take it and deal with it.
You play for a very demanding coach. When it comes to the defensive side of the game, how much have you learned in the last year or so with Mike Vandekamp, and how important is that to you having success moving forward?
Oh, tons learned since I've been here. I wasn't much of a defensive zone player in Major Midget before I came here and such, and he demands it out of you, and it shows that in order to win, the D zone has to come first, and he proves that for sure.
Adam Pilotte, 5D. On Tuesday, it went down to 4, and you guys played a masterful defensive game. How are you guys able to do that against Cowichan on Tuesday?
Well, it was obviously hard, but it's actually fun because you get a lot more ice time. You're really in that game, and we really worked hard as a D-core group, and we were really proud of that game, for sure.
How tiring is that, though, by the time you get to the end? Like I said, you started with just 5, and then you go down to 4 by the end. Is that as tired as you've been after a game this year?
Yes, obviously, because we were 4 defensemen to finish that game, but we're in such good shape. We practiced so hard, so it wasn't that bad, and we felt pretty good after the game. You
guys have segment goals, and a lot of the times guys will tell me, look, we're just going out there, we're going to play our game. It doesn't matter who's it against. But knowing what happened last year in the playoffs against West Kelowna, that overtime in West Kelowna, and the emotion that was around the team after that loss in overtime, was it a bit special to play those guys and beat them on Friday?
Yeah, that's for sure. We really wanted to beat them. We remembered that game from last year. I mean, that was tough, and that definitely felt great to beat them on Friday.
Against Powell River, you're 2-2 this year, but in the 2 losses, you gave up 7 in their building. You gave up 6 in your building yesterday. What is it about that team that defensively makes them such a struggle to play against? It seems like when they get their game going, they're really hard to stop.
I don't think it's about them. I think we were just not ready to play as a group, as a team. I think it's all about us. It's our mistake. I think we gave them the game, and we need to make sure that we're ready to start the game, and we play from the first shift to the last shift.
I talked to Sean Buchanan yesterday about teams in the division that really kind of get under his skin a little bit, and the team he mentioned was Cowichan. For you, which team in the division is the team that gets under your skin?
Cowichan, 100%.
No, what is it about that rivalry that makes it like that? And I know especially the games down there in that small rink, usually there's a whole lot going on between the benches.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because of the guys on the other team or they have a smaller barn, so a lot more. It's a lot more physical game when we go over there. But I don't know. Maybe it's because we're closer. But I don't really like the people on the other side for sure.
There were rumors that Coach Vandekamp and Coach Donahue were going to get you guys up for a 5 a.m. practice. Are those rumors true?
Yes, we had a really good workout this morning. I think we learned, and we're definitely going to be ready on Friday.
How tough was that? When was the last time you had a 5 a.m. practice? I imagine you've had some in your career, but how tough was that to get up early this morning after a long and tough game yesterday?
That was pretty tough, but, we worked hard, and then we had a good practice. Good practice was a good workout, too, and I think we earned that day off tomorrow, and we got to make sure that we're going to be ready for Friday.
I don't plan any of the games, but I watch every game, and when the team wins, like was the case on Friday, I felt great Friday night and all day Saturday, and the team loses yesterday, and I came out to the meal after the game and was sitting with the coaches, and I was down in the dumps and get to work this morning and thinking about the game, and again, it wrecks my mood a little bit. For you as a hockey player, how do you make sure that doesn't happen, that you can just put what happens one day behind you the next?
I'm still not over that game, even though
Okay, good. It's not
after
just me.
midnight we should get over it, but I wish we could have played today and, get over that game, but I think we're going to practice on Wednesday, focus on the game on Friday and, leave everything behind.
Do you have any Halloween traditions?
Not really.
Not really. Doesn't watch much TV, doesn't have any Halloween traditions. You're just all about hockey.
All about hockey.
Well, let's get to our game because that's all about hockey.
Awesome.
It's called Face-Offs, and I have in front of me, I have a baby mask, and whoever loses this game, the winner gets to put the baby mask on them.
It looks like Kowalski.
Let's get into this game called Face-Offs. There's some tough questions in here, but there's also some multiple choice. So what I want you to do, I'm going to ask the question. First guy to ring their bell gets a chance to answer that question. There are no steals in this game. And Graeme, Tait, I need you to watch these guys closely because I have to read the questions. So sometimes I'm going to ask you which guy chimes in first. Then if there's a tie, we'll just pick out of the goodness of my heart. I'll see who I like the best on that particular chime in. Question number 1. Which Western Conference NHL player has the best face-off percentage right now? Matt Kowalski.
I'd probably guess Connor McDavid.
Connor McDavid is not correct. 0-0. No steals, Adam. Question number 2. This is multiple choice. Who has the better NHL face-off percentage this year? Is it Jonathan Toews or Patrice Bergeron? Adam Pilotte.
Patrice Bergeron.
Incorrect. It's Jonathan Toews by a full percentage point. Still 0-0. Lots of questions left. Matt, you're still in this. It's still 0-0. Next question. Who has a better NHL face-off percentage? Is it Nick Backstrom or is it Ryan Getzlaf? Matt Kowalski.
Ryan Getzlaf.
It is Nick Backstrom. These guys are 0-3.
Wow, we are not good
at face-off. Maybe I should have got a second baby mask if nobody gets the question right. Somebody's going to get one of these right down the road here. Once again, multiple choice. Who has the better face-off percentage in the NHL this year? Darren Helm, Joe Thornton. Matt Kowalski.
Darren Helm.
It's Joe Thornton.
I don't know.
Last one on this topic, again, multiple choice. Who has a better face-off percentage in the NHL this year? Henrik Sedin or Steve Stamkos? Adam Pilotte.
Henrik Sedin.
Henrik Sedin is correct. 1 percentage point better than Steve Stamkos.
I would not have said that.
On face-offs. Couple interesting ones here. Sidney Crosby. Is he above or below 50% on draws? Matt Kowalski.
Above.
He's below 47% on face-offs this year. Adam continues to lead 1-0 thanks to his knowledge of how good Henrik Sedin is on face-offs. Another question about NHL face-offs. Connor McDavid, above or below 50%? Adam Pilotte.
Below.
Below is correct. 45% on draws. I was surprised he was that low when I looked that up today. I didn't think he would be 2-0 for Adam Pilotte. Next question. This NHL player who plays for the LA Kings in 9 games has 6 points, but he's only 24% on faceoffs. LA Kings player. A little bit of a tough one here. Matt Kowalski.
Anze Kopitar. I don't know.
Yeah, incorrect.
It's the only LA Kings player I know.
What about you, Adam? You have a guess on that one?
I have no idea, Dan.
It's Tyler Toffoli. 6 points, but 24% on faceoffs. Now, let me ask you guys. Matt, I'll ask you as a forward. If you had a player that was one of your top players that was 24% on faceoffs, how would the coaches likely react to that?
They would probably tell him to pick that up.
You put him on wing.
Yeah, maybe.
That's
Maybe
a very
even that.
kind answer. With NHL players, centermen, that played at least 80 games last year in the 2015-16 regular season, who had the best face-off percentage? Adam Pilotte.
Patrice Bergeron.
Jonathan Taves.
That's what I was going to guess. I would have got that one for one.
But you were slow on the buzz. You were
I
slow on
know.
the bell.
I'm just always wrong, so I didn't want to buzz it.
I'm all about the French guy.
Well, that's fair. That is totally fair. Final question. This is about the Nanaimo Clippers. Which Nanaimo Clippers centerman has the best face-off percentage? Matt Kowalski.
Tristan Crozier.
Tristan Crozier is not correct.
Oh, my
Do you know who
God.
it is, Adam? You were thinking Crozier too, weren't you?
I was. Just
The best he's taking the most.
I could tell
Jimmy
you.
Collins.
No,
is it Huey?
it's not Huey either.
Oh, geez.
It's David Cilia.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough.
And that's over the last couple of weeks, I guess. And it's funny because I was asking the coaches about that, and I asked Head Coach Mike Vandekamp. He said right away, Crozier, like you guys did. And then Dustin Donahue had the actual spreadsheet. And by percentage points, it's David Cilia, number one faceoff. This means, Adam Pilotte, you have won faceoff,
I got none right. So.
and you get to put this mask on Matt Kowalski.
It actually doesn't change my appearance, though. What's up?
Matt Kowalski wearing the baby mask here on Off the Ice. That's absolutely priceless. Absolutely priceless. Matt, it's a great look for you.
I don't feel a different look, honestly. I feel good.
Face off on Off the Ice. Adam Pilotte beats Matt Kowalski. Clippers in action Friday at home and Sunday at home. Hockey trivia time. And we didn't have a lot of optimism, Graeme, but give us the question, the answer, and our winner.
All right, so Chilliwack coming into Frank Crane on Friday. What was the Clippers' record against the Chiefs last year? Were they 2-0? And this is not including the playoffs, as you mentioned before. 2-0, were they 1-1, or were they 0-2? They were a perfect 2-0.
They were perfect. And in fact, the game in Chilliwack last year was great. Nanaimo won 2-1 in overtime. If you remember Matt Hoover, he had the overtime winner in that game. And who's our winner?
Susie Barines, she's the only one who got it right. Guessed 2-0, so she's got herself a pair of tickets to any Clipper regular season home game.
Nicely done, Susie. Yeah, Clippers and the Chilliwack Chiefs Friday at 7, and the Merritt Centennials are here Sunday afternoon, a 2 o'clock game to start the month of November. 11 games, 5 of them against the Island Division. So another busy month of hockey. Matt Kowalski and Adam Pilotte played a game with us face-off. Matt Kowalski had to wear the baby face, much to the delight of Adam Pilotte. We talked hockey with those guys, too. Head coach and general manager of the Clippers, Mike Vandekamp, joined us off the top. Sitting in for Joe D, it's Graeme Tait. For Graeme, I'm Dan Marshall saying good night from Off the Ice.
You've been listening to Off the Ice, the Clippers Hockey Show. Join us again next Monday night at 7 on Nanaimo's Rock, 106.9 The Wolf.